Oh yeah, today we're going to be doing wiring, so just crack on with it, I reckon. This is what it is. I said about it in a previous video, but we're basically just going to chop it down for an hour, clean all the wiring up, seeing what needs to be there. I might shorten and lengthen some bits and pieces, but basically just general clean up, fitting it all in, rewrapping it, and that's about it. Didn't think of that, did I? Can't get a tank all the way in with the battery in. So I have to do that, maybe cut back into this off. Let's trim a bit of this off. I'm not sure the loom can go where I thought it was going to go, so I might have to put it up in this little gap again. It's annoying. Check with the seat. This is the ignition unit connector, and it did sit around the back somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo this, but I'm going to locate it so it has about that much length. And what I'm going to do is put it with this. I'm going to make a new bracket because this is all the leftovers of what it was originally. Looking at these, this looks like it might have been what held all the components originally, because it has little brackets to fit everything in. So I imagine that's where it originally had they were positioned there for cooling and such. I might actually steal that bracket now that I see it. So yeah, I'm just gonna make like a little bit of ducting in here to cool all that off, because I imagine that's what it originally had. So, but when it got put underneath the seat, there's no airflow to it. There's no airflow really past here inwards. So I'm going to relocate it there so it gets a nice bit of flow as you go in to cool it down, because it gets hot and overheats, and that's what ends up killing them. Couple of issues. Started chasing it, the speedo doesn't work, it's not illuminating or turning on. Chased the aero, and there's a faulty earth somewhere, which is rule number 1 of electric auto wiring: always check your earth. So yeah, I'm just basically chopping it all out, wiring it all up. I'm just gonna mock it all up, make sure everything works, and then once it all works, then I can start putting it all back together again. But this is all been messed about at some point, so probably just the earth is disconnected somewhere down the line. So I'm just going to check it all and peel, uncover. Proof that you should always check your earths. So this is the mounting point, and you've got earth there, got earth on the terminal and the connector, but then on the first joint, nothing. So I'm just going to cut that off and check it. So yeah, the connection was, I think it's like called a dry connection. The connection there, the factory connection was the issue. So it had that one and a main earth off it. So I reckon a lot of stuff wasn't working because of that, and it might have been giving issues to other stuff as well. So I'm just going to re-crimp on there for now, and see what happens. There we go. Problem sorted, I think. There we go. All working. That's all it was. One earth. And I pulled it all apart because of it. Oh well. This is how far I've got so far. All the wires are stretched out for the rear lights and indicators. These are all kind of bunched in there. I think I'm going to make a little bit of a cowling. I'm going to relocate the coil slightly higher and then put the ignition unit in there and make a little ducting of some sort. For that, obviously it needs to be so it doesn't pull the radiator heat through into it, so it's either going to be higher or to one side of it. We'll see. Maybe a bit of curvature or something on it. I'll just make it out of alley and then paint it, I think. Don't want too much alley on it. Right, so I think I've got that all buttoned up. All the wires are in, apart from one number plate light, which is just a cheap little one off eBay, and it got like hair thin wires, and it just snapped off. This is all in. It's all on a subloom clip, and that all comes off in one, and then individually you can pull the indicators and number plate lights, so you don't end up having to cut them or whatever. So that's all done, so it's serviceable and interchangeable if I want to. All this is kind of mocked up. I'm a bit annoyed that this takes up so much space, but I'm probably going to do a little ducting in there like I've mentioned, and that will work. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the tail. All this is a little bit messy, but once it's all wound up and that, it should look a bit cleaner. And all tied in, that all fits under there nicely. I might pin this down a little bit. But yeah, I think that's it. So I'll just, I don't know if I need to test anything. I think it's all there. So yeah, I can move on to the next thing. So I think it's do a bit of exhaust with my bends I've got here. And then do rear brakes or forks. I might make a front mount so I can jack the front of it up and take off the front wheel. Or I'll make a stand, I don't know, we'll see. This is one of the coil pack brackets, and it's got these redundant tabs on here. That's for a fairing, I think, and for some electrical connectors. I'm going to keep this one, but I'm going to cut the rest of them off to just clean it up, and then I'm going to spray it so it all fits. I'm going to make a little shroud in here, I've decided, just enough to have the CDI and the coil inside it, which just get a bit cooler in it, because it's lower than the radiator. It should be enough just to get a little bit of cooler on it, and it should be a decent amount of airflow. Right, so while that paint dries, I just had a quick blast of this because it was really dirty, and it's just ugly. And anyway, I started, and now I think while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I'm just going to give that a quick clean down and get it a bit more presentable. Right, so this is what I've gone for. I'm just going to put the coil in here and the CDI unit. I think it's CDI unit, I've probably been calling it wrong all this time. And have it like that. I've drilled these two holes so you can get access to the bolts. And also it looks like it's meant to be there. I'm going to trim that bit off. I'm going to radius this a little bit more, I think, and then give it a little bit more shape. So it just looks a little bit better. It's a bit boxy on the bottom. But yeah, going to pull that off, tack it up, clean it up, and that should be it. And that's cleared another issue. We're all on the way now. I'm just going to wait for the door parts. Yeah, I think just about there. I really don't like it. So there it is. I really don't like it. I think I'm going to eventually replace it with something that follows the top of the engine around here, maybe, or at least the contours a little bit better, and then all up here, sort of like a part fairing. And maybe, I'll see. I did want to put a bottom fairing on, so depending on how that goes, I'll see what I do with the rest of it. But I'm guessing this works, and I've bolted the CDI unit on, so it'll be like a heat sink to dissipate all the heat from it, because it's got quite hot, and it should get a decent airflow because it's just below the radiator. So for now that'll do. I'll ride it, think about it, and then go. We've cleaned up the engine case. It's not great, but I at least prefer it like that than I did with all the crud on it. I think what I'm going to do is quickly mask it off and satin black it, or bed liner it, just to give it a bit of texture or something. We'll see what I feel like, but I'm not sure on this because it's just a little bit too ugly. So yeah, I might spray it up now and I'll protect it until I get it painted properly in whenever. So yeah, that's it. All the wiring is done. The rear end is all done, all tied in. It just needs covering up. So I'm going to use self-amalgamating, I think. I would like to have sleeved it with some reinforced stuff, but obviously I'd have to take the loom apart to do it that way, and I'm not sure there's any that expands and contracts to fit it. So what I'm going to do is just amalgamate and tape over the top, and at least then it won't be sticky if I need to take it off again, and it'll look a little bit more factory than pretty horrible gaffer tape and so on. And that's it. So I think that side of it's good, and the rest of the pipes for the exhaust should arrive soon. I trimmed this off already, ready for putting up, for putting the exhaust up here. I think this is going to be in the way, so I'm going to have to just replace it maybe with an aftermarket one. I did like to trim this off at some point just to make it a bit cleaner, but we'll see what I do with this, and I'm going to leave that for now because it's not functional. So what I want to do is get everything I want to do on it with regards to functionality and make sure it works and how it sits, and once I've got all those bits done, then I might do a tear down. So if I'm good enough, or if it's all happy enough, it'll probably be next winter. But yeah, I just want to get it going, done, and then I can move on to the next job. The idea is to get as many of my vehicles on the road as I can, so then I've got a bit of redundancy if I need to fix one or the other one. So you're just going to get that done, and hopefully that should be it. See you later.